Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
July 9, 2020, the Kiss-Off edition. And we start with that story as representatives of civil rights organizations met with Facebook, specifically Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg, and they basically were told to kiss off. Facebook is not going to change anything, and the company believes it's doing fine, and it does not need to do anything beyond hire an executive with a civil rights background. They don't believe that they should have independent audits of their practices or really any other change. So they just really don't seem to understand the position they're in, and the loss of advertising has clearly hurt them and will continue to hurt them. And now with the social standing that they've lost because of their continued posting of racist tweets from President Trump and the fake news that they allow him to put out is certainly going to hurt them going forward. So, have you heard of the BooHoo disaster? You have not? Well, you should check out the article in the New York Times, as BooHoo was one of the fastest growing retailers in the United Kingdom. The company is known for $6 bikinis, skin-tight mini dresses, and collaboration with social media reality stars. But this week, the company became the newest face of worker exploitation after revelations about conditions in the factories where subcontractors make their clothes. BooHoo uses subcontractors actually in the United Kingdom, and it found that they paid as little as £3.50. That's $4.40 an hour for those keeping score at home. And the work conditions put the workers at risk of infection because they had little or no social distancing or even personal protective equipment, in addition to their incredibly low pay during the coronavirus crisis. So it's a little unusual to see a fashion designer abuse citizens in its own country, but BooHoo is in a world of trouble for doing so. Next up, we have a couple of stories about Wirecard coming from the Wall Street Journal. The first one is that Wirecard is now under criminal scrutiny as the Department of Justice is examining whether the scandal-plagued German payment company played a crucial role in an alleged $100 million bank fraud conspiracy connected to an online marijuana marketplace. 2 businessmen have been charged in the alleged fraud, accused of conspiring with third-party payment processors and others to trick U.S. banks into approving credit card payments for marijuana products. The men were able to do this by using phony companies with accounts at offshore merchant banks that in turn earned steep fees off the transactions. The U.S. Attorney for Manhattan, the Southern District of New York, it's been in the news recently, and the FBI are examining whether Wirecard played a role in the alleged conspiracy, serving both as payment processor and the offshore merchant bank. The authorities are also considering the role of several former or current top Wirecard executives. And our final story, also from the New York Times, is Wirecard and how it's audited. And it brings up a sort of a continuing dialogue that has been going on about how FinTech companies are audited. Auditors are still trying to figure out how to assess the financial statements of FinTech companies. Certainly, this challenge was highlighted by Wirecard. FinTech companies deliver digital financial services such as payments or loans, frankly, may not have a grasp of the entire business model. So one more problem brought on by Wirecard. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Daily Compliance News, which is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. This month on the Compliance Live, I feature Scott Sullivan. Check it out.